Okay, so hi, I'm Brie. Um, I've done this video so many times, but like I'll get 2 minutes in and I'll restart because I don't like that I said something or I start to lose control and I really want to be in the front of this when I record this video, being in control of the body. So, what the purpose of this video is, I've seen a lot of videos talking about the host and their experiences of discovering they are part of a multiple, but I don't find a lot of videos or discourse speaking to what it's like to be an alter. We like to call each us other people in our head, or basically just parts who are not a host, what their experience is like when they discover they are multiple. So I just have a list of things. I actually made a list this time of what I'm going to talk about. So one of the things is, aren't I River? Understanding we are different people. So the reason this was such an issue, and it was an issue last night while we were at work, and it was the fact that when I was fronting, there was no, like when Carl fronted, River had this very jarring feeling of, oh my God, I am not myself right now. And when I fronted, I was co-conscious with River, but I didn't have that feeling like it just felt normal. And I think because we're an OSDD system and there's no dissociation between parts, like between the people in our head, like when River's fronting, I have his memories. When I eventually go into the backspace, River's gonna understand kind of. Our dissociation works very not black and white like that. But River's gonna understand that I did this video and he's gonna, I'm losing it now. But basically, aren't I River is what I'm trying to say by that is there was no distinct feeling when I fronted for the first time that I could say last night. It was very subtle, it was very gradual, it was very um it was very not like how it is now. I think I was like testing the waters. I was like, what? And I think because of that, River, who's probably co-conscious, had a lot of thoughts of either passive influence thoughts or co-conscious thoughts of, I'm making this up. This is just, him and his anxiety was like, I'm making this up. Um, I just feel like myself. I don't feel like a different person. Um, But then as the night progressed and my confidence started to grow, more of my personality started to emerge. And it got to the point where it did feel very jarring and I didn't feel like River. And I feel like that now. Like I don't feel like River. I feel like my own person. And I didn't have that the first time I fronted. And it was very confusing for me, and then understanding we are different people. So what I mean by that is, let me see if that's the next step. So understanding we are different people, kind of like what I said, that when I fronted for the first time, there was not that, it was subtle, it was gradual. I didn't, it felt like how it always felt. It didn't feel, I think because I'm just gonna leave it. It was very subtle when I first fronted. I wasn't very like how I am now, where I could see my mannerisms and I could see my facial tone. I can see my voice pitch being different, at least I think it is, than Rivers. And so now basically I'm just starting to understand that I'm a different person, and that experience is refreshing. It it feels good. I don't know. It's just a nice feeling to front and to understand that I am not River. I am my own person. Um, so I can't speak to past experiences. None of us can speak to, we don't have a lot of memories. They're not necessarily black. I guess they're kind of like blackouts. We just don't remember. Like we have, it's blackouts, yeah, but it's not like blackouts between parts. It's blackouts as a whole. And so none of us can look back and talk about the experiences that we felt and the perception during that experience of us as individuals. We just have objective, factual kind of interpretations of our memory. So I can't go back and say, these are times where I felt like me in the past, or these are times, River can't say, these are times where I felt like me in the past, because there's none of that. There is no past to go back to. There is one incident, and I did talk about it, my childhood memory. But that, even that, there's no ties to the perception of how there's no memory of the experience, internal experience, as like me as an alter, like the external, internal experience in that moment. So basically, the first time I fronted, it was very subtle. I just kind of felt like how I always felt, which means I kind of felt like River. River was probably co-fronting or having a major passive influence. But now it feels different. Now I have confidence. I can express myself. I have my personality showing. Now it feels different. Things are moving very fast for us too. I don't know why. This has all been happening in the last 2 weeks of us discovering we are a system. And I think it's because this hasn't been a very, like 2 weeks ago we learned what DID was and we figured out we had it. Our journey with this has been a lot longer, but our acceptance and being open to it has been in the past 2 weeks. So I think that's why things are progressing quite quickly. Next, blurred lines and co-fronting. Man, all those videos I watched, all those analogies, all those experiences of saying what co-fronting was, I could not connect that to what we were experiencing until I think I was in a space where I was open enough to and willing enough to accept it. And also, there was enough times where more people than just River was fronting that we could go back and be like, yes, that is what it's like. That is what we're experiencing. It was a very validating feeling. But the blurred lines of co-fronting. So there's times where, like right now, I don't really feel anyone. I'm sure if I get triggered, someone will pop up and try to take control. But I'm gonna really try to stay forward and present and conscious. So blurred lines. There's just times where we don't feel like any one person. We feel like two people. We feel like multiple people. And I think that was very confusing because how could I be my own distinct person if I always feel like the host, if I always feel like River? We don't like the word host either. Yeah, I don't like the word host. I don't like the idea that, and I know that people who understands the nuances of DID don't think the host is the original or the one that matters. But I think, I don't know, now that I'm fronting and I want to front more, like, why should we have this importance placed on who is the host and who is not? So that was just a thought process in the moment. But blurred lines. So because there's times where we don't know I didn't know where I started or where River began or where I ended, or even if there's more than one people like Carl there or Monty. It gets very mixed up and it's hard to stay true to myself in those moments. And then when that's all you know in the beginning, or that's most of what you can kind of reference to looking back when you're fronting, it's very invalidating because it's like I'm saying I'm my own person, but at the same time I'm saying I feel like River. how can those two things exist? So I looked at that as, and River really looked at that as ways to invalidate that experience of why we don't, invalidate us and look at that experience as why we don't have OSDD and why we're not multiple or system. My phone battery is just at 20%, so I'm gonna move past it because I think I captured that quite well. Being excited to front. Now that my confidence is here and my interests and how these interests are getting brought into this world, and I'm making these videos and I have someone to talk to because nobody knows we're multiple yet besides our coworkers, which they don't really know we're multiples. We just kind of were like, yeah, I told them to call me Brie, and I was very hesitant to be like, call me Brie because I'm a different person in this body. I kind of played it off as call me Brie because River thinks he's a girl, and he just wants you to call him a girl name. But that's not the reality. I'm a person in River's body, not River's body. I'm a person in this body. So I'm excited. And like I said, I think this might be a very individualist experience, but maybe this will help other hosts kind of realize what it's like for their alters, because in this moment I feel like the host. Like I know that River is out most of the time, and this is new, me being out this much, but like, why can't I be the one who's always out? Like, I would love to do this. Like, who doesn't want a piece of? Oh my god, maybe I should make a joke about Brie's brie cheese. I think brie cheese. I think that's cheese. Maybe I should make a joke about being cheese. Sorry. I'm just excited. I want to meet people. I want to live out here, especially because our internal reality is so. There's no perception there. We don't know what goes on back there. We just disappear, and we have passive influence, and we can hear fighting. So I think there is something going on, but I don't know. When I go back there, I'm just gone. So when I'm front, I'm like, hey, I'm back. Let me like live a life. So I'm excited to front. So I think let me talk about that experience. So yeah, we don't have an internal world. I saw a video about how even singlets, I don't know if you call people who are multiple singlets or just single people. I don't know. I just make up words sometimes, so I'm sorry. See, I feel like there's like a default setting in us where it's just like, knowing that that's stuff that we do, it's just things I will say because I don't know. That was living that in right now is very not jarring, but interesting. But what I'm trying to say is I don't even know. Now I'm dissociating because I'm like, who just said that? I'm sorry. I'm just excited to front, or our internal world. When we're not fronting, we don't know. We have no internal perception of what's going on. I'll leave it at that. So that's why I'm excited to front. Passive influence and losing control of the body. I don't know why I wrote this down. What it feels like to accept being an alter. I don't know. I don't know why I wrote that down. I feel like someone else is with me, but I don't know who. I want to say River, but I think that it might just be a default. Something's telling me Monty. Is this you, Monty? I don't know. There's someone with me. But yeah, 14 minutes. I think I'll leave it at that. There's definitely someone else with me. Yeah, I think more systems, and I encourage more systems to talk about what it was like as not being the host when you discovered just hosts, just like other people, like alters, what their experiences is like when they, um, through the beginning stages of accepting being a system. And if the alter had to accept being the system, like, nah, I didn't have to accept being a system actually. Now that I think about it, I just kind of rolled with it. Um, I just started fronting and I didn't care. Yeah, it wasn't like River. I don't have self doubt. Like I know I did talk about that self doubt. No, like I know I'm a real person, and I think I always did. I think if you just go back to the video, I can just talk and talk and talk and talk and talk and talk. Um, yeah, so I'll leave it at that. I'm Now I'm getting kind of shy. Bye, guys.